Hi, my name's Charlie King. I'm with Heroic Fatherhood, and welcome to your Mentor's Moment. In today's question, a dad asks, how do you tell your 16-year-old daughter that the universe does not rotate around her? This is such a great question. And I want to say that super simply, you don't give it more attention than what it needs. But really, let's be clear. If your child is self-obsessed, very often that's because they like who they are. They like their opinions. They like the way they look. They like their clothes. They like their friends. They like their books. They like their social media presence. They like their classes. They like their sports. They like their choices. And we don't want to skip over the fact that that's pretty great stuff. There's so many kids, including myself when I was a kid, who really had a hard time liking themselves at all. That if you have a child who is slightly self-obsessed, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like generally, if they like themselves, we really want to encourage that, not let it go over the top where it becomes this thing that looks like narcissism and it becomes, like you said, the universe rotating around them. So remember, teenagers haven't fully developed their brains. The most recent studies that we know indicate that kids don't develop their brains until they're 24 years old. The adult brain doesn't fully develop until they're 24. And in that meantime, one of the things that doesn't fully develop is empathy. It doesn't fully develop during that time, so that they get very focused on what their experience is. They get very focused on what they're doing or what they're not doing. And they don't have anything outside their experience. Remember, teens don't have a lot of life experience. They just have what they've been exposed to. And you pretty much know what all of that is because you're their parent. And they don't have the decades worth of life experiences that we have. So we want to be mindful of that. So we want to make sure that they understand that there are other feelings to consider, including everybody in the household, all their, which is their parents and their siblings, and also start to give them some framework to understand how it is to be with them when they show up self-obsessed like they are. Like, how fun is it to spend time with somebody who's only concerned about themselves? How fun is it to spend time with somebody who only worries about their own needs and really isn't interested in the needs of others? If they're listening, very quickly they'll get an idea that, hey, that's not really a lot of fun to spend time with somebody that's only worried about their own issues. And we go, great. That's a good thing to remember. So it's always important to be curious about what's going on with other people and to be concerned about the feelings of others and to spend time with other people and co-create how you're going to spend time together, or figure out together how you're going to spend time and do the things that you do. The next thing is, don't get caught into it, right? To the same extent that it's an attention-getting mechanism, if we feed it by telling them how great they are, we're feeding it. If we push back against it, we're also feeding it because the focus is all on them. So if you go either extreme by reinforcing the self-obsession, you're feeding it. And if you go the opposite and try and shut it down, you're also feeding it. So what I might suggest is, don't give it the attention that it doesn't deserve. Only give it the attention that it does. Certainly frame it up and share with them, hey, we've been hearing a lot about what's going on with you. We hear a lot about what's most important to you. And it comes off a little arrogant. And it comes off like you don't really care about the feelings, thoughts, or opinions of others. And it's not a lot of fun to be around. And so we'd prefer that you focus on together as a family, or your friends around you, or listening to your coaches or teachers, or whatever that may be. But at the same extent, don't give it more attention than what it needs. Make sure you're focusing equal time on the rest of the kids in your household, and feel free to say, that's fine if you want to continue talking about yourself, but I'm kind of done talking about you. So you may go and talk to somebody else about you. And your daughter will likely find that quickly they don't have anybody to talk to about themselves except their friends. And there's nothing quicker that will shut down your friends than you showing up as self-obsessed, because your friends won't put up with it, because they're your friends. They're not your family. They don't have to put up with it. And if you show up self-obsessed to your friends, they're going to get really disinterested in you really quickly. So once again, first of all, make sure you don't give it more attention than what it needs. Remember that being slightly self-obsessed is A, normal, and B, isn't a bad thing because it demonstrates that they like themselves. and see that they haven't really distinguished the depth of what empathy and understanding the feelings and perspectives of others is. And it can be up to us to share that with them in a constructive manner, but don't give it more attention than what it needs. And then just let it go. And what I noticed, what my experience tells me, is that this self-obsession will pass pretty quickly. There will always be a certain amount of self-obsession, but that's kind of being human. But the over-the-top stuff will certainly pass. That being said, this was a great question. I loved answering it. Thanks for asking, and keep them coming. These questions have been so great. We're loving answering them. Now, I have a question for you if you're watching this video. How would you have addressed this dad's issue? By the way, do you have a question that you'd like to ask us? Also, if you liked this video, make sure to check out the other questions dads have asked. And lastly, I want you to remember, we become better men by spending time with good men. My name's Charlie King. I'm with Heroic Fatherhood. This has been your Mentor's Moment. We come to you each week with questions from real dads who are entrepreneurs, who are looking for some advice, insight, or a new perspective on some issue they're facing in their lives, either as an entrepreneur or as a parent. Thanks so much. I'll see you soon.